We didn't talk about surfboards at all. Whose boards are you riding nowadays, and what are you interested in?
Well, Chris Christensen's been my main guy for. I started riding his boards in 2002. Then I rode them for like 3 years, and then I rode for Almeric for like 4 years, and then I went back to Chris. So I've had a relationship with him since 2002, 2001, 2001. And I have a bunch of surfboards from other people because I feel like I learn things from getting surfboards from other shapers. And there's so many like I got a board from Stretch. I talked to Stretch on the phone, and I'm just like, wow, he's such a genius. He's so fascinating how much he knows. And I learn and I get intel from that, as well as I give feedback. And I know that that's my currency as a surfer. So I pay for the boards, but, sometimes they give them to me, but I never resell them. I either give them back or I keep them, but that's my currency, is to give the feedback and say, it works like this. I feel that, and I usually have like an idea on where to go next or something just to help. And that's what I feel like is a lifeblood for shapers, is to get from the surfers an idea. So they go back in the shaping room and keep progressing with their shapes. I got some boards again from Xanadu. I was really fascinated with the Scott Bass interview with Xanadu and how he shaped the board, and how it was his measurements were like the computer guy, and the computer guy came in telling everybody they don't know how to measure a board. And I just was fascinated. I was like, no wonder, because I felt like my surfboards in 90 and 91 were the best on tour. They were the fastest, most vertical, most versatile surfboards, and everybody wanted one, so they started ordering. And I realized that he's just an outlier. He's just a very, very, very passionate, so curious, so many ideas. You just look at what he's done with his 4 families and how they relate. You're like, wow, he is deep. And so I have a history with Xanadu, and I just had a strong ego. He has a strong ego. And I was just like, dude, he was trying to tell me, you need all these flipped noses. And I was like, those are for kids. I don't want a kid's board. I'm a man, and we just had these, arguments and stuff, but never ever like nothing friendship breaking, So we always stayed cordial and stuff. And then the thing that I love about Xanadu is my dad and him had words, and, it was like they kind of, had some stuff going on, but he would always ask me about my dad. Oh, how's your dad? And I always be like, I thought you didn't like my dad. And he was like, no. He told me, because he came to the paddle out and told me that the reason I always ask you about your dad is I saw what your dad was doing. It was business, and he was doing his job. He was protecting you. And I wished, I don't have a kind of relationship with my dad, and I wished I had one like that with my dad. So I appreciate it, and
Interesting.
It was cool. So I've kind of gone back in a much more humble way to Xanadu, like, you're the master at what you do. And he's the same with me as far as technique. And he saw how my dad was helping me so much. He knows that I know what I'm doing. And I get people coming from him. He told Gabriel Medina, he's like, you should work with Brad. He's the best. You should work with Brad, and he just tells his writers, you should work with Brad. If you're smart, you're going to work with Brad. And some come and most don't. So anyway, and I got a few boards from guys in Australia. Got some boards from, I have a Japanese friend, and I got another guy named Luke Daniels. He made, asymmetricals for me. Mm-hmm. And he's handshaping and stuff. The thing, when you get a board from somebody, especially if they're going to handshape, it's almost like a new friend. You get a new friend because you have something in common to talk about, and you get the board. I pay for materials or whatever, or they give it to me, but it's like a loaner in a way. And I plan on giving it back. Or if I really like it, I can keep it kind of, you know, I'll probably shoot some footage on it and then they get some, you know, but I get a new friend out of it.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And I deserve it after all these years. You know, after all these years, I deserve it. I give back. I don't just take and say, see you later. I get it. Then I give back. And, I got a board from this guy, Nick Maz, and he makes these microjet surfboards, and they look like the tail of the board, towards the bottom of the board, it actually sticks out. And you think it just looks cool. So I said, I want one. I didn't think it was going to work. He made me two. They both work super good. Like, I'm like, wow. So I would be interested in getting some boards from, like, I'd like to get a board from Bert Berger. We talked a little bit just because I want to try the wood. And I see it as I'm now now that I'm a teacher and I've got like high level students, like I'd like to know, I got a bunch of Pyzels because Tara writes for Pyzel, and I want to know, what does the radius do, and what does the shadow do, and what does the 7.4 model do, and what does the ghost do, you know, so that I can weigh in when I talk to Jon Pyzel about, it's like the race car driving coach. He would have a relationship with the mechanic and the driver, and he would understand everything about the car and understand everything about the opponent's cars, so that he could have so that his driver can have the advantage. So I started going, well, I need to order those boards. I need to know what they do. So I have an intuitive connection to my student. And then I have like Skip Fries, and I have a Donald Takayama, and I've got my 1985 Gary Linden Stubbies board I won. I kept my Xanadus that I won the contest on. I have I've got my Doc Lausch Cortez Bank model. I've got my Chris Gallagher Toto Santos win 6.4, and Christensen has a Gerr model, and he's just updated it. And I have a new one, and I am so excited about it. It works. I had dinner with Chris last night. I was like, dude, that board is absolutely magic. I love that surfboard.
And you wrote it today.
And I wrote it today.
What's the board? Tell me about the design.
It's 5'10", is swallowtail. Twin fin. The fins are made by Duncan Eady. Duncan Eady is a guy from Torquay. He's been making wood fins for 25 years, or now 27, I guess. And the fins are made of all different types of wood based on what you want from the fin. You want more flex or you want them stiffer. He chooses different wood. And I have twin fins, quads, single fins, and thruster, all wooden fins. And they are, like, I've got them, they're like some of my most prized. I like keep them, like, I almost want to put them in a safe because I'm like, where are they? Okay, there they are. Okay, they're good. They're there, you know. And they're fragile. You drop them, you go, they're valuable. So I use Duncan Eady's fins with Chris Christenson's board mainly, the Gerr model, and now he's got a Gerr model twin, and then I just dabble with other boards, so that even when I weigh into Chris and I say, oh yeah, I can weigh in and say I like it compared to these other ones. I really like this, or there's something missing here, and for Chris, he wants feedback. Doesn't have to be good feedback. He wants feedback. And in fact, if I give him only good feedback all the time, he's like, well, I don't know what to do next. So everything seems to work.
Nailed it. Moving on.